Wake up, sleepyhead. Stretch and yawn and rub your eyes. For Adabox has awoken from hibernation and lumbered into your hands. After many years of parts shortages, we finally got enough parts to ship out the thousands of Adaboxes that have been patiently waiting. This special Adabox is all about making memories, which is why it is called Momento. It's a digital camera you can build and program yourself. This camera is built around an OV5640 sensor with 72-degree lens, 5 megapixels, autofocus, and a charming low-fidelity aesthetic. We use a Wi-Fi and Bluetooth-capable ESP32S3 module with plenty of PS RAM to power it. Preview images on the 1.54-inch color TFT, and snap photos to be saved onto a micro SD card. You can punch up your pics with the built-in RGBW LED ring for adding colorful effects or natural white lighting to illuminate your subjects. Thanks to DigiKey for being our muse and technical assistant as we worked so hard to revive Adabox over the last year. They provided parts, advice, and feedback that made this box picture perfect. And of course, thank you for your patience. Adabox is a labor of love, and we're excited to get back to shipping these out to all our subscribers. We have many more boxes planned and in progress, and we know you'll enjoy opening them as much as we enjoy designing them. Adabox 21, Momento. Hello, I'm John Park, and I'd like to welcome you to the Adabox 21 unboxing. First of all, we at Adafruit would like to thank you for your extraordinary patience waiting for this Adabox. It's been quite a journey over these past couple of years working on putting it together. If you're a subscriber, we hope you've received your Adabox in the mail by now, and you can join along as we unbox this together. If you're not a subscriber, then go ahead, subscribe right now so that you can get Adabox 22 later this year. We'd also love to extend a special thank you to DigiKey for making this Adabox possible. Now, let's get ready to make some new memories together as we take a look inside of Adabox 21, which is all about the Adafruit Momento. We can remove this slip cover, and we'll start our journey with a roadmap to things ahead with this lovely retro film camera themed content sheet. This lists the contents of your Adabox. It also has a coupon code that you can use for a discount on a future purchase at Adafruit. Also included are a number of links, including one to this very Adabox unboxing, the Adabox Learn Guide, which includes additional project links, and a link to the Adafruit forums. I'll lift the lid and get right in there so that we can lay out the contents of the box, and then we'll dive deeper into each one after that. We have the Momento, battery, LED front panel, a posable artist's dummy, and then we have a sort of bag within a case here. Let's open this up. Okay, within the case we have a micro SD card, JST cable, protective back plate, some double stick foam tape, as well as mounting hardware. And then last but not least, we have this lovely purple neoprene case that you can use to protect your Momento. Let's have a closer look at what these things are. I'm going to start with the Momento camera. This is a DIY camera with an ESP32 processor. Has OV5640 camera sensor on it, a 1.54-inch TFT preview screen, micro SD card storage, interface buttons, a mini speaker, and external hardware interfacing support. The Momento is a fully hackable camera that'll let you explore photography right alongside your coding. You can code it in Arduino or in CircuitPython to turn it into anything from a simple snapshot camera to a time-lapse intervalometer, from a Game Boy camera with wireless printing capability to a roll-your-own IoT doorbell camera. The Momento has ESP32 S3 module with 8 megabytes of flash, 2 megabytes of PS RAM. A dual-core 240 megahertz Tensilica with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth LE. We have an OV5640 camera module that has a 72-degree lens and autofocus motor. It's a 5 megapixel camera sensor with JPEG encoder built right in. The 1.54-inch 240 by 240 color TFT is for previewing the camera images or any user interface design. The micro SD card slot can be used to store images or animations to any SPI-capable micro SD card, up to 32 gigabytes in size. There are two digital and analog stemma ports. These use JST PH3 connectors for the A0 and A1 pins, and power and ground for adding external buttons, LEDs, or sensors. There's also an I2C Stemma QT port. You can connect just about any I2C sensor you please with a Stemma QT JST SH port there, and that'll provide 3.3 volt power and logic. There's also a LIS 3DH accelerometer built right on board that can detect orientation, shaking, or movement. There is LiPoly battery charging support, so you can use a 3.7 to 4.2 volt, 350 milliamp or 420 milliamp battery. There are 6 user buttons. These are connected through a GPIO expander. There's also a buzzer built on board that can be used to play tones or alerts, or to indicate when a photo was successfully taken. The analog microphone can be used as a sensor to detect loud sounds. It's not for recording video with audio. On top, we have a shutter button. It says cheese right there. That is connected to GPIO 0, and it can also be used for entering the ROM bootloader. Also on top is the reset button. That's for entering the bootloader or for starting over. There is an on-off switch, and that can be used to cut all power when using a battery. There is a USB-C port for programming the ESP32S3, as well as REPL access in CircuitPython and charging the optional LiPoly battery. There are also 4 M3 standoffs for mounting or enclosure attachments. Next up is the LED front plate and the JST cable. This protective plate is an 8 RGBW LED ring light to add color or bright white lighting to your photography. You can use the 3-pin JST cable to connect the main board to the LED board. And we'll take a look at how to do that when we get to the assembly. Next is the protective back plate and hardware kit. You can attach the protective back plate with the provided M3 screws and hex nuts. The LiPoly battery and foam adhesive are used to make your camera portable. You'll use the thin foam sheet to attach the rechargeable battery to the main board. The LED plate will sandwich it from the other side. We also have a 256 megabyte micro SD card. You can store hundreds, if not thousands, of photos and GIFs on this tiny little card. And it can be read by your computer for long-term storage. Note, you can use cards up to 32 gigabytes of capacity on the Momento. We also have a protective neoprene case. You can use this to keep your camera safe, and it works best when it's tucked into this mesh pocket. Posable figurine. The Momento can take stop motion animation frames with onion skinning mode, and this wooden figurine is an excellent, easily posed subject for your stop motion animation. Now, let's assemble the Momento camera. So first we'll prep the board for assembly by removing these 4 protective stickers you see on the standoffs. You can usually poke them out with a screwdriver. You will also want to remove the protective lens cover. Just be careful not to get any fingerprints on it. We'll stick the battery to the board using some adhesive foam tape. You'll peel off one side of the protective cover on the tape, and then you'll press that to the main board inside of the silk screen rectangle that you see outlined here. And just like that. Next, you will remove this small piece of tape that is on the battery holding the cable in place. And the battery will plug into this port on the Momento, and it can only go in one way. I think I'll use some pliers just so you can see a little better what I'm doing here. Just press it in like this. And we'll want to carefully dress these wires out of the way so that they don't get in the way of the lens there. Now, before we do that, what we're going to do is take off the other piece of protective film from the adhesive foam strip. And then we can press the battery into place to mount it. There we go. Next, you'll mount the LED faceplate using the 4 M3 screws. And the key here is to match the white triangle on the front of the LED faceplate to the shutter button on the Momento. This way, the JST connectors will all be lined up on the board on the same side, because this is where the cables will connect the two. And I'm just going to screw these into place. And these will go right up against the standoffs. Like this. You don't have to crush them down too hard, but you do want to get a good solid connection. Next, you will prep the back plate. So the first thing we'll do is remove the protective film from the TFT display. There we go. And we will place the 4 remaining M3 screws through the 4 mounting holes on the back of the plate. And just check your silkscreen orientation to make sure that it matches the way I'm doing it here. And now each of these 4 screws is going to get a hex nut threaded onto it. And these will act like spacers to set the panel to the correct height above the board. This is important to prevent the screen from being squished, so don't leave these off. And you can put these on a little less than finger tight because we'll want those nuts to be able to slide as we screw in the M3 screws into the other side of these standoffs. So don't torque them down too tight. Okay, those are ready to go. And now what we're going to do is place that over the Momento so that the buttons and the screen cutouts line up. And then again, we can screw in those 4 screws. Don't have to be very tight. Now, the LED front panel gets power and data for the NeoPixels from the A1 port on the Momento. You'll plug the cable into the LED front panel, and then you can twist that around to get it to plug into the A1 port. Now those can only go in one way, so don't worry about it too much. Those are ready to go. And then the last step is to insert the SD card. So we'll take this and orient it so that you can see the little gold teeth there. Line it up with the micro SD card slot silkscreen and plug it in just like this. Now when you press this in, there'll be a little click and then another click as you release it a little. Just keep your finger there so it doesn't go flying off in case it wasn't fully seated. Let's check out the stock camera app that ships on your Momento. It's a good basic introduction and a way to check that things are working properly. Later we'll put CircuitPython and some more advanced code on to really flex the features and versatility of the Momento. First, make sure your microSD card is inserted. Then turn on the Momento by flipping the switch to the right. After it starts up, you'll see the camera's viewfinder on the display, as well as some user interface elements. You can change settings with the buttons. For example, adjust the resolution up and down with the up and down buttons, anywhere from 160 by 120 up to 2560 by 1920. I'll set mine to 1280 by 720. You can add colored gel filters and effects with the left and right buttons, such as sepia tone, a blue gel, green, red, black and white, inverse, and back to normal. You can also look at the battery level on here and the voltage on the A0 pin, as well as accelerometer readings down at the bottom. To take a picture, you're going to point the camera at your subject, frame it in the viewer. I'm going to use this bowl of fruit as a nice, peaceful still life. Also note that having good bright lighting is important to get the best quality out of this sensor. It can be a bit noisy in dark environments. So we'll frame it up and then shoot by pressing the shutter button and releasing it. You'll hear a little click sound from the onboard speaker, and it has just saved a JPEG image to the micro SD card. Let's also try an effect. I'll switch this to black and white mode and take another photo. And then how about inverted? To check out your photos, first turn off the Momento, then pop out the micro SD card, and you'll load it onto your computer or other device. I'm using a little micro SD to SD adapter, and then I'll plug this into my computer, and I have a little external monitor here so we can see. And the drive just showed up. The SD card is named No Name. And we can go into that, and you'll see it has saved your images with sequential names. So image 000 through image 003. So let's take a look at some of these here. Here we are in black and white. And these are actually the same resolution as the monitor, so I can go in a bit closer. And here is the inverted effect. And then you can copy these to your hard drive and delete them off the SD card if you want to. When you're done, go ahead and eject the drive from your computer, and then you can put that back into the Momento. To charge the LiPo battery, plug in a USB-C cable and that can be from a computer, a power bank, or a wall adapter. Note, the little yellow LED next to the charging port will be lit while charging. And you can even make your posing mannequin hold it for you. Thanks. If you're headed out somewhere to take photos, you can pack the Momento safely in the zipper case. And there's still some room here for USB cable or other accessories. The Momento NeoPixel LED ring is used to add light to your scene or to add colored lighting effects. It works particularly well for closer subjects. Note, the firmware that ships with some Momento camera boards does not have LED control enabled, but we have a link in the Learn Guide you can use to update to the factory reset firmware, which enables the LED control. To turn on the lights, press the OK button on the back of the Momento. Each time you press the button, you'll cycle among different colors: red, yellow, green, light blue, blue, pink, and warm white. Now, this warm white is really nice looking because these are 4-element or RGBW NeoPixels that have a separate white diode just for the warm white color. After you've dialed in your color, you can cycle between 5 different brightness levels by pressing the Select button. If we turn down the lights, we can get a pretty nice feel for how dramatic your lighting can get. To turn off the light, just cycle to the last color position, which is off. Here's a recap of what came in the box. First, we have the Momento camera board. Next, the LED front plate. We have JST cable, the protective back plate, M3 hardware kit, LiPo battery, double stick foam adhesive, 256 megabyte micro SD card, the protective neoprene case, and finally, the posable figurine. So that's the unboxing of Adabox 21 and an introduction to the Momento camera. I'm so excited for y'all to get started with your own Momento, taking photos and making memories, and hacking it to be the camera you want it to be. Again, we want to thank DigiKey for making this Adabox possible. I also want to thank all of you around the world on behalf of Adafruit for your patience with us as we got this Adabox out under extraordinary circumstances and many, many revisions and redesigns by Lady Ada over the past couple of years. Now we'll head to the live section of the show so I can share some demos and more advanced Momento features using CircuitPython, as well as some example projects. We also have lots of Learn Guides for you to check out and more coming on the way. For Adafruit Industries, I'm John Park, and this has been the Adabox 21 unboxing. look, here we are. It's me, John Park, and it's time for the live portion of the unboxing. Thanks, everyone, so much for stopping by and for hanging out and coming this far with us. And I am excited about this Adabox. I hope you have yours. If you didn't, like we said, you can subscribe to get the next one, which is Adabox 22, and our plan is to put it out this summer. So please go and subscribe if you didn't get to get this one. A couple questions we've had over in the chats, and shout out, by the way, to our Discord chat. Thanks everyone for hopping in there. If you're looking for the chat, it's adafruit.it/Discord. Just look for the live broadcast chat channel. Looks like this right here, that thing right there. You can, question we had in the Discord and the YouTube chat, you can get the Momento in the store, and we've now released the sort of case kit, which is the LED front panel, the back panel, the hardware. You can get a battery. We don't have it currently all as one sort of pseudo Adabox. Those are gone and done, but I think we will be coming out with something that is just a bundled up version of the stuff that you can get separately right now. So keep an eye on the store for that. Also, questions about the case, the little purple case, which I love, which makes me think of hamburgers for some reason. We had a similar case that was a more rectangular one. You can also get in the store, which is great for the Clue fits in it nicely, I believe. Someone mentioned an Arduino Uno DigiDevon 3. So yeah, check out, we've now got a couple of these neat soft cases. So what else did I want to say? Again, thank you to DigiKey. They're a huge help for us getting these out. Thank you to everyone at Adafruit who's been part of really bringing this thing back to life. It's taken us a couple years. We're doing things differently. We're shipping them out ourselves now. We used to use a third-party partner, but now we do it all in-house, just the shipping part, which is a massive undertaking, thousands and thousands of these kits going out. And like I've said before, thank you, Lady Ada, for persisting and winning on hard mode the final boss fight of parts shortage around the world, and doing the redesigns and revisions necessary to be able to ship this to everyone. And to make an incredible device. This thing's really fun to work with. You can see some of the simple projects I showed there. I'd like to demo for you now some of the other CircuitPython-based uses that we have in our main camera example, as well as some of the cool projects that other people have been working on. So let's see, let's get to all of that. Also, I just want to check my audio level. I've been having my mixer tricking me lately, so let me know in the chat if that audio sounds good to people. The first one I want to show so I've done a few little demos, and one of the fun things about this was actually Phil's idea. PT, Mr. Lady Ada himself, said, what if we shoot some of the content for the unboxing with the Momento itself? And so I've got some little title sequences that I've done to introduce these different sections, and these are shot on Momento. So here's GIF animation time. Wow, 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 wow. And so GIF animation, let me grab a camera here first of all. How about this one will work well. So I've got a few of these set up with different demos on them. So here's a Momento, and this has the fancy camera software on it. I'm going to go ahead and let that boot up. And I'm going to put this into GIF mode. So if I can, I'll switch over to a down shooter here so you can see some of the interface stuff as I do it. And let me give you down shooter view of the world. This one, sure, no, that's not the down shooter. There's a down shooter view of the world, okay. I'll pop me into the corner there. Here we go. So here on the fancy cam example, as we call it, this is the main camera example that Jeff Epler and Lady Ada and some other people worked on in CircuitPython. It's got some dust on there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the interface buttons to head over to the mode selection and switch this from stop motion to Game Boy to GIF. Okay, so we're in GIF animation mode. And this one just shoots a nice little 240 by 240 GIF, I believe is the size. It might be 178 by 240, something like that. I'll just you can see it says SD OK. I have SD card in there. I'm just going to press the button and it'll shoot a GIF. So what I'll do for this demo, let me pop back to a main cam here. And you can see, I'll throw some light on the scene. Having good lighting helps a lot, like I mentioned. So I've got a little baby light there. And I've just got a filter case here, an old-fashioned camera filter case. And I'm just going to spin that, hit record, and it just shot a 2-second GIF of that. So that's now living on that SD card. I'm going to pop that off and then click out that card. I'm going to put this in the computer here, and I should be able to just show you a Finder window here. I'll pick my Momento. There's some other GIFs. So this is in gallery mode, so it's just going to show you whatever's on here. Where's the new one? Is it this? It might be that. That's one I shot earlier, actually. Here's the one that I just shot now. Oh, I started it a little late. So you can see we get some low res. What does it say on here? I don't think it says the size of it. But a cute little low res GIF. These are great for meme reaction types of things. Doesn't have to be objects. It could be your face. It could be a fun facial expression. So here's a little video of that looping so you can enjoy the previous one I shot. So GIF couldn't be simpler, not a lot to it, but you get a nice GIF saved on your card there. I'm going to go ahead and eject this, and let's do another demo. And let me know in the chat if you have questions. We're going to try to go through these pretty fast just so we don't take up too much of your time, but there's a lot to show. So let's see, the second one I want to do, stop motion animation. So I'm gonna actually switch to a different camera view and use a different camera. I'm gonna head over to the workbench here. And you can see I've got my artist's dummy mannequin there, maquette, whatever you want to call it, stop motion puppet, sitting right here. And I will just move a couple things out of the way. And I've got another camera here I'm going to set up, and I'll get, it's good to have a lot of little weird tripods if you're doing this kind of stuff. Just one is fine if you're just using the one camera, but I've been shooting a lot of stuff. So I will get something like this, and in fact, let me move this into frame of my overhead, and I'll switch that to be the large view. And I'm going to click, click, click my little titling letters out of the way there. And here's my little friend, the artist's dummy. I'll turn this on into stop motion mode. So stop motion mode, it takes a little bit of setup to be able to demo it nicely. So you can see what kind of one of the main features of it is. And I'm going to zoom in a bit closer here. I'll move stuff back a little for you too. There we go. So hopefully, oh, did this not? Hold on one second. I got a camera. My main bench cam thinks it's getting a little warm, so I'm going to flip that. This is the time of year when that starts happening. We got through the winter without that, but hold on. I'll let this come back to life. Battery exhausted. All right, we'll leave that off for a little bit then. Poor camera. It's okay. I'll put the. This will be sort of a weird view, but I'll put this over in the corner there so you can sort of see what I'm doing. But more importantly, on the camera here, in stop motion mode, so you can see here the mode selector says stop. I'm using this cool little external shutter release, which is a Ruiz Brothers project. I'll show you in the Learn Guides later. Nice little 3D printed case and a momentary switch button in A1, and that just mimics really what this button does. It's going to just be a shutter release for me, which is great because that means I'm not wiggling the camera around here. So what I'll do is take a picture. It says snap, it beeps. I'll set this down here. And now when I go to move the artist's dummy, you'll see it's leaving behind a little ghosted image of where it was before. So I'll get my hand out of there, take another frame. So I can tell this is going to be a fast movement because I'm moving the head a lot from frame to frame, and I can kind of keep that distance consistent. So we'll just have the head move back and forth. Take another frame. I'm going to move it just a tiny bit as if it's coming to a stop. I'll take another frame. It's just sitting there. You can hold these frames later in animation software if you want, so I won't take too many. And then I'll turn the head and lean it forward a bit as it looks in the other direction. And you can see here this nice onion skinning or ghosting is an excellent aid for this type of stop motion animation. You can also tell if you've accidentally nudged something. Like, let's say I want this hand to be planted, but now I can see this kind of a ghosted hand, so I can get that back where it was, just like that. And we'll just finish that out. In the interest of time, I'll do this cooking show style, and I'll just show you a very similar animation I did earlier so that you don't have to watch me build that. But what I will do is jump to Photoshop so I can show you my frames here. So you've got a little collection of frames on the side here. I'm just giving them consistent timing. So you can see here's my look to the side, and I actually was moving the body a little bit too, like it's like our character is leaning a bit. So it's a little different animation than what I showed you there. Now I can just play this back. You can see, and it doesn't really loop, but that's okay. And here is probably a smoother version of it because I rendered it as a movie, so you can see that there. So there's our little character. So that's stop motion mode, and it uses all of the other camera settings. So we can do colored lighting, we can adjust the resolution, we can put a filter onto it, which is all really neat stuff, and use that on an onion skinning feature. Next up is a time lapse. Okay, so, oh, you know what? One little, just because I made these and I think they're fun, here was my stop motion intro. I didn't do any sound for this one. Beep, boop, bop, beep, boop. Boop, 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 beep, beep, boop, beep, boop. Beep, bop, boop, beep, beep, bop, 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 boop, beep, boop, beep. There you go, stop motion animation. So the next one I'll do, this one I was trying to tie in some of the photography theme. Maybe this camera is willing to wake up again. Funny thing is that one has USB power to it. It shouldn't be annoyed with the battery being low, but it is for some reason. You'll see over on the back workbench there under that photo enlarger, I have the photo timer. And so this is a little timer that can go anywhere from 0 to 60 seconds. It turns on your enlarger's light, it sweeps its hand, and then it stops and resets. Let's see, let's look at this camera. Are you working now? Yeah, so I can zoom in on that back there. So you see that little red dial, this thing right here. Boop, boop, boop. So I can shoot a time lapse, and I'll show you what those settings look like first on the overhead here. So let's see, which was my time lapse camera? I think it was this one. Okay, good. So again, I'll turn on our fancy camera here. By the way, someone asked tripod mount. We have a few different tripod mount cases that the Ruiz brothers made. This is a sort of chopped version I did for a super minimal case, but if you look, there are a few 3D printable cases that we have that can accept the tripod mount 1/4 inch in 20 adapter that we sell in the store. So you just kind of screw that into the print, and then that'll go on any tripod you want. So now I'll use my mode selector. So I'll get over to where it says GIF here, and I will move to lapse. That's the time lapse mode. Here we can set it to different intervals, so it'll take a photo every 5 seconds right now. You can do that up to, I think we have it set to up to 60 minutes. Let me see. Let me see if that's true. Is it there? 10, 20, 30, 1 minute, all the way up to 60 minutes. And it jumps intervals there, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, and back down to 5 seconds. Again, you can change some of your filters, resolution, and so on. So I'll leave it here. You can also change the power reduction or power draw mode so that it updates the screen all the time, only updates the screen in medium power mode when an image is taken, or never updates the screen in low power mode, and that's just to save battery, especially if you're doing a long time lapse. So I'll set this here, bring it over to main cam back here. Again, I'll do this cooking show style, but I had set a little tripod magic arm mount here. I'll set this to, oh, it doesn't want to, hold on, get in there. There we go. So I pointed this at my little screen here. I hit the shutter button and hold it so that it auto-focuses on the nearest thing. So now we've got good focus. This is set to a 60-second. I'll set this down to 30 seconds. How about? And then I can hit the, I believe it's OK button. Yep, it'll start counting down. 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll hit start on this, and now I have a little sweep going here. I'll step over here so you can see me. So now I have a little sweep going there, and it should show us every 5 seconds that hand kind of jumping. So pretend I've finished that. It's every time it hits the 5-second mark, it takes a photo, saves that JPEG to the SD card, and then you can just turn it off when you're done. So you can set this for an indeterminate amount of time. So again, pretend I didn't cooking show style this one, and we'll let me present to you that's what the finished 60 seconds shot in 5-second intervals looks like. So it's great for doing time speed up types of stuff, build montages. You may have seen earlier in the first video I had some cloud movement stuff, so it's great for nature things. And again, forgetting my little title sequence, it's great for melting ice. Whoop, and reversing your melting ice through the magic of video editing. Okay, so this time I will remember my little title thing, so let's look at rack focusing. So here you can see we have the ability to control the focal distance or focal length of the lens. It's on a little voice coil motor, a little electromagnetic coil motor. So that is used when we do autofocus, but it's also something we can control in software. And so there is a rack focus or focus stacking mode we can go into. For this one, I'll skip ahead from the demo, but basically I've got a little, I set the camera over here pointing at a few objects, including the monitor here, my character, and a little letter X, and then I let it shoot 1 frame every 5 steps of the voice coil motor, which goes from 0 to 255. So I get a stack of, a few dozen photos. And again, you can pick the one you like. You can create a video of them, a GIF of them. Here's a little video I made. So that is just a set of maybe 20 images, and I am scrubbing between them with a little bit of back and forth motion in my editing software. I use After Effects to just kind of ping pong back and forth. So that's a typical rack focus. If you're making a movie and you've got your mannequin talking and then your letter X there in the foreground talking, this is a way to draw the attention to the subject. Jim Hendrickson in the chat asks, what is the minimum close focus distance? That's a good question. I actually haven't measured it. I believe it's somewhere around 10 millimeters or so. It's quite close. And you'll see that, in fact, when I show the next section here. So another use of that ability to take frames at multiple focal distances is to stack them into a single image that is entirely in focus, which is impossible, right? You can see in this example, we'll have the background out of focus and then the top flowers in focus, but never can we get both of those. I shot this example here of some succulents, some Lego succulents. They look better than the dried up nasty ones I actually have. I'll show you what this looks like in Photoshop to get a better idea. So we can't get all of those focal distances with the sort of shallow depth of field that we have. We can't get everything in focus at one time. So if you look, here is a, basically the farthest stuff is in focus. Here's a stack of photos. As I hide some of these, you'll see we're getting, the background will go out of focus and the foreground will come into focus, similar to that rack focusing thing. Let me go ahead and hide that one, whoops. So there you can see this foreground one's in focus, everything in the background's in focus. So we can do either online, I wrote a guide that shows how to do this with an online tool, or in Photoshop. We can align and blend those so that we get kind of the best little pixels from every layer of that so that we get one nice in-focus image. And again, I'll show you in a second a guide that has a nice example of that. So those are some of the live demos I wanted to do. I also want to show you a few live demos of some projects that exist. First of all, someone asked about cases. This is a beautiful 3D printable case that the Ruiz brothers made. You can see here it has a diffusion ring for our LED front panel, has kind of a retro camera aesthetic to it, which is nice, retro modern. It looks a little like a Instagram icon as well as an old school camera. If I go ahead and adjust, and let me show you what this looks like from the down shooter, the LED, I'll go to the color, let me turn on the level, so you can see there I have quite bright. Let me go adjust that level down. You can see it, but this gives it a nice diffusion to it so we don't get quite as many little points of light reflecting in our images. Speculars are a little more even with that. So that is one project. Also has a nice threaded adapter there and a little slot for your SD card. This one's neat too because it kind of disguises our cable there that connects the front panel to the board there. So it's not square, but I like it. Other projects that we've got, let me zoom this camera out here a little bit. Whoa, that's not out. That's in here. Oh, okay. And yeah. Let's see. I will show just a couple left. Let's take a look at the Game Boy camera here. So let's go to the bench and I'll adjust that view for you. So this is a project Liz made using a lovely little cat-shaped Bluetooth thermal printer. And turn that on. And some software. I believe this was in Arduino originally. Still, I think it's an Arduino project. It is going to connect over Bluetooth to that printer right there. And you can see we get the nice dithered Game Boy camera aesthetic. Let's see, here we go. I'll zoom that back out. And it will take a photo and send it immediately to the printer. You can also pick a couple of options in here for having a frame on or off. I'll go with the frame. So let's do a little selfie here. And yeah, suitable for framing. You can see here, it takes advantage of that nice dithered Game Boy 1-bit color space that were in there. It says shot on Momento. And then you can, whoops, hold that while you tear it. I got a little aggressive. And then you can give that out to all of your fans and friends. This is a sticker paper you can get for these, so those are a lot of fun. And then, let's see, just a couple of others. I've got behind me here, if we switch to this view, I have the face tracking robot. This was a Brent and Ruiz Brothers collaboration. It's on a little servo. And you can see here it is active and it's looking for faces. I'll use our good friend Slappy here. When it sees a face, you should see this ring light up. Oh, you know, he doesn't have a lot of light. Let me give him some light here, help this situation out. There you see it went to a little blue ring, and it's going to track his face as he moves around. It's going to try. It's shy. It's scared of Slappy. Let's see if it works better with a human. Yeah, it's probably better to use a real human than a doll. So that's a little shoulder-mounted. You can use that as a shoulder-mounted face-tracking robot. And two others that I want to show. Let me show this one. This is pretty cool. This is the AI descriptor project. So this is another Liz Clark project. I'm going to turn this on. This is going to connect to my Wi-Fi. So this has the, like we said, ESP32S3. It can get on Wi-Fi. It can do Bluetooth, as we've shown. This is a machine learning based image descriptor. So it'll send an image up to the OpenAI. And you can see here, it's thinking about, what did I send it? And then it says, articulated wooden figure standing with one arm extended and the other arm bent at the elbow. Pretty close. That's kind of amazing. I'm very impressed and slightly freaked out about how well this works. Here's that little Lego succulent set that I had shot earlier. Let's, okay, hit select. Oh. Let me take a new photo. I've broken it there. I'm not sure what. Let's see if it knows what I just took a picture of. In a bed of green, colorful blossoms, gather spring in plastic form. Oh, I may have. Let me try. There are some modes where it'll try to be a little bit poetic. Earlier, it identified these as Lego, or at least plastic flowers. Vivid flowers bloom in a dance of bright colors. Spring whispers softly. Oh yeah, it's. I think I'm in an alt mode. Let's see. No, no. What's happening? Oh, that's showing images. Oh, that's showing images I previously had shot too. Cool. Sorry, Liz. I know you're going nuts because I don't know how to use this thing properly. But very cool demo. When it works, when the operator knows what they're doing, it works really well. Last one. And I know your time is precious, so I don't want to hold you too much longer. But again, let me grab a light here, and I'll show you the IoT doorbell project. So here, in fact, let me show you in the down shooter. I'll turn it on. Here is a DIY IoT doorbell, and this will. It turns on here. Are you on? It's probably connecting to internet there. That just lit up the little button there. This is a IoT, Internet of Things device. I will show you a Adafruit I/O feed right here. And you can see there was the last photo I took. I took a picture of that little display back there. So if someone comes up to your house, rings that doorbell, you're going to hear it'll make a little bing bong. Bing bong. Packages that up, sends that off to the internet, and then boom, it appears, and you've got your visitor. So you can see them in an email that'll get sent to you or right on the camera. So it's that's creepy, Lars. Why do you have to be like that? That is the IoT doorbell project. So real quick, last thing I'll do here is show you our Learn Guide and some of these projects. So here you can see This is the main Adabox guide. We have a link to the unboxing, which will contain this video later. Someone asked about these. These are going to be on YouTube, as well as we'll link it inside of, or embed it inside of this page. This will show you everything about the parts that were in there. We have internal, external links. These will link you to guides that exist in the Learn system. So this is the main Momento guide, and this shows you how to set it up, how to install CircuitPython, how to install Arduino, and then we have some Momento projects in here, including the quick start guide that Anne put together. It'll show you like real quick 1, 2, 3, how do I get it set up? How do I put in a micro SD card? How do I take a picture? So it gives you the basics, and then slightly more involved. We have the basic camera guide, the fancy camera guide. That's the one I've shown a bunch of demos from. How to do a time-lapse right here. Here's that cloud example. How to make animated GIFs, as well as we have info about how to actually take your GIFs into other programs and boomerang them and do fun stuff with them, as well as a guide on shooting stop motion and using the onion skinning like we showed. And then if we back out to the Adabox guide here, we have the assembly page. That'll show you how to assemble it, just like I showed during the unboxing. We have a wireless remote with Touch OSC. I've actually got that running on this one, so I can use a iPhone or an iPad or a computer, anything that run Touch OSC to control the camera, which is pretty neat. All the features on it. We have the remote shutter button, which was that cool clicker you saw me using before. I'll show you how to use that. Really helpful for certain types of camera projects. Minimize camera shake indeed. We have the BLE Cat thermal printer with Momento. Yours is purple. Oh, I didn't know that, Liz. Mine is blue. I like your purple one. That's pretty cool. 3D printed camera case. So there's a couple in here. I think this one might also be linked in the Thingiverse and printables. I can't remember if it's in one of the guides. Then there's a guide on just facial detection that Brent did, and that also then leads into the face tracking robot project. So that uses that, so you get kind of a twofer there. The first guide I showed you there will give you a lot of the details, and the second one is a practical project. Focus stacking. This is another example of flowers that I shot that used that multiple stacking to basically expand our depth of field for focus. Also shows how to do a split diopter shot and a rack focus. The doorbell project. The OpenAI image descriptors project that I didn't do justice to, sorry. And this brand new one, this one just came out like today. This is the IoT bird feeder camera project. This uses a PIR sensor, I believe it is, to detect when wildlife come and eat, and you can have a photo automatically taken and sent up to Adafruit IO. And then from Melissa is the web workflow on Momento, so you can code it wirelessly from a web page. Amazing. And I think that's it. So we'll have more projects coming, but those are the ones that are out. As of now, we have a few more planned, and we love to see people put together their own projects, maybe put them up onto the Adafruit Playground as a way of publishing your guide for us. We'd love to see any things you do with it. So take a couple of questions here, if anyone has them, before we wrap up. And I'll head to the Discord. Let's see. Let me catch up on the Discord. Any questions? Bear said that they have set theirs up, but they're only getting red light from the LED ring, regardless of USB or battery. It's time to go update the firmware. Yeah, that does sound like a firmware thing. So main guide will tell you all you need to know about how to update the firmware to factory, or to put CircuitPython in and use fancy camera, which I recommend. Let me know. Any other questions? Let's see. Mark says that the datasheet says 3.5 millimeters at a f2.4 is the minimum focal distance. So way closer than I even thought. Very close. The case, can it come in different types and colors? If you're talking about this, this is the only one we have of the styrofoam hamburger case version, but 3D printed cases you can do in any filament that you desire. Can you take Momento photos and navigate with the arrow keys? So Liz implemented that in the Adafruit, in the image descriptor, OpenAI image descriptor project, and I think maybe there's a standalone example in the CircuitPython library example. So PyCamera is the name of the CircuitPython library, and there are a bunch of examples in there that you can go check out. I think there may be a JPEG playback example in there you can check out. All right, I think that'll do it. Yeah? Okay. Let me know. I'll hang out in the chat a little longer after the show, so if you have other questions, please let me know. And I think that is going to do it. We've got it. We've got an Adabox out. I'm so glad that you stuck with us. And like we said, we have Adabox 22 coming. Go sign up. We don't have a lot of subscriptions left for that. People tend to stay subscribed, but some will open up. So go sign up for that if you want to get the next one, which we're planning on releasing this summer. All right. For Adafruit Industries, I'm John Park. This has been the Adabox 21 unboxing. Thank you everyone so much, and we will see you. Bye-bye.